Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of A Nation United. And today, things are going to get a little bit depressing because after thinking about it, leaving, room for your feedback as well as far as what we look to do with this team, we're blowing it up. It's the end of an era for this team as it stands. And while I don't know who exactly is going just yet, changes are going to be made. Now, before we can make those changes, we do need to fill out this roster and get some more contracts going. And thankfully, as I have gone through the entirety of the player database, I found the forwards, defensemen, and potentially another goaltender in lock. So if we wanted to get him back from Florida, that we could look to acquire to really help kickstart a little bit of a retooling. If not, a full-on rebuild for this team, which of course is a little bit dangerous because it's not your normal rebuild. We're limited with the players that we can use. So along with sending out the offers for our scouts, we have also sent out 29 different contract offers, including to free agents like Kapanen, although Ville Heinola is not included. And we will see how this roster fills out. And the majority of the players that we end up using here will be the players that end up being used at the NHL level if we end up selling to such an extreme extent, which we will see. So we get Jerome Alban as a scout, Pascal Carl as well, Matt Versteeg, Dominic Churin, Kirk Ramirez is in as a scout, Ethan Cogliano as well, Gilbert Latendresse, Mats Malmstrom, Johan Lammikko is rejected. Apparently we don't have the cap space. Same for Granlund, Koivula. Oh god. Okay, well, we got Lintaniemi on defense. Husso rejected. Suomala's back, which is, Sebastian Repo signed. Rupaints, Tuomainen. Niemelainen had to reject. Rannan had to reject. Nurmi signs. Nordgren signs. Laaksonen, Aranta. Vevalainen had to reject. So we will still have to sort out a decent amount with this team. More players are having to reject than what I expected, including Kapanen. But that is a start to help fill out this roster. That brings us to 26 players under contract, but obviously we are very much up against the cap. So the first move here, I got to be honest, I think in terms of getting Laakso back as a goaltender, it's not going to happen. Hakarainen's going to be the guy. So the first thing we're going to do is focus on recouping or rebuilding the defense, and that is going to start with the New York Rangers, who have the top defensive prospect available to us. That is Ramo, and that is also depressing, but that is Ramo. 19 years old, 77 overall, medium top four. He was a first-round pick, 22nd overall in 2026, but he is the first target, and depending on who we give up here, which I gotta be honest, I mean, I wonder if they'll take the rights to Peltonen. I know he's 23, but I'm just not feeling it with him. I know it sucks because he's extremely well-rounded, but I don't know, man. Like, he's the one I'm really tempted to keep. Tyrväinen as well. And Thomas Heikkila is very much on the... It's going to be Heikkila. Heikkila's going. That'll free up some cap space, and obviously we will look to get as many draft picks back as we possibly can. And the good thing is the Rangers do want to give up their first this year, and that'll be quite helpful. So we'll go for 2 firsts, a second, a third, in exchange for Thomas Heikkila. Will they accept that? They will not. What if we take out the third? Of course, I accidentally removed the wrong one. What if we go with a third and a fourth rather than a second, I guess? Still didn't go through. What about 2 firsts, a third, and Ramo? Still didn't go through. That's what happens when teams don't want to trade assets. Fun. A third and a fifth? I mean, yeah, it's not going to go through, but still, I'm hoping for the best, basically. All right, this return's not going to be ideal, but we're gonna do what we can. We're gonna do what we can. It's gonna be Ramo, a first, a second, and 2 thirds for Heikkila, which is a nightmare, but we got to do it. They still rejected. Are you kidding me? Is a fourth enough? Please sweeten it just a touch. I will put my foot so far up your ass. We'll go with a 6th. Okay, seriously, what is defined as just a touch? Good Lord, a 7th. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Oh my God. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. A 1st, a 2nd, a 4th, a 6th, and Ramo for Hikola. Highway robbery from the Rangers, but we do what we have to do. The next targets, especially on defense, will be coming from the Detroit Red Wings, where we have Virtanen and Kurvinen, who I believe both were drafted by this team. Indeed they were, but we're going to be looking to bring them back. They're very well rounded. The hope will be that I can get them to retain some salary to make these deals even better. I doubt that they do it, but when you factor in that we might be giving up Luukkonen here, it'll be worth it. And if we can save a little bit of money there, then so be it. So this will be Luukkonen's time to go. Detroit would be over the cap. Maybe it won't be Luukkonen's time to go. Was there anybody forward-wise who's worth a lot that I was considering moving here? I mean, Rantanen's probably going, but this wouldn't be the time for him. Capo Caco is also on the chopping block, but I don't know if that's going to happen. And on the defensive side of things, if I wanted to get rid of Tyrväinen or Peltonen, now would be the time. With Tommy Tyrväinen, I mean, again, I don't like the puck skills. I don't like the shooting. The skating's kind of meh. I don't think he's good for this team, but we could keep him. It's a little bit of a risk. I mean, the obvious solution here is to just not have them retain on one of the two. So we'll try to have them retain on the Kurvinen contract. And again, it's not necessary that they retain, but I want them to. And I'm not going to be able to get them to, apparently. So all that idea is out the door. There we go. All right, well, we can't have them retain, but so be it. We'll see if we can pick up Virtanen and Kurvinen, who combined make less than what Luukkonen has. So we have that going for us. And then draft pick-wise, obviously, I don't exactly have high hopes for what we're going to be able to get back, but I'm still going to try to command a little bit. Obviously, that's not going to go through, but hey, again, it's worth it to try. I was going to say, I doubt we're even close, but again, it's worth it. Slowly but surely getting closer to a deal, hopefully. Still a no, because of course they don't want to trade their draft picks, but again, we're at the mercy of other teams right now. That's just a bit low, which is fine. Again, you can see we're stocking up on draft picks already, so we're looking okay. Will that go through? This game doesn't understand what the word low means. I don't. It's just, it's the worst. Will that go through? Sure. How about a 1st, a 2nd, a 6th for Virtanen and Kurvinen? Thank you. So that improves the defense quite handedly. We are not done yet, though. There are 2 other targets that we have because I'd rather sort out the defense than the offensive side of things. So we go to Boston, who have Virtanen. Not quite looking at Urho Vakanainen. We'll be looking at Virtanen here. And again, so now goaltending-wise, we're set defensively. Still have some doubts. But obviously, Tyrväinen, Peltonen, Virtanen, and Kurvinen will pretty much be leading the way. And then forward-wise, I mean, I just re-signed Rasmus Kupari, but he has decent trade value, so we could look to deal him a little bit later. I mean, the last 2 that I'm really considering getting rid of are Kakko and Rantanen, although Simon Tyval could go as well. And have it be, again, Louis, Ludman, and Lambert leading the way on this team. I just don't know if I want to get rid of Simon Tyval. Can we move Mikko Rantanen here? Obviously, we would like to move Rantanen to a non-Eastern Conference team, but we're kind of screwed. So we're going to do whatever we can do, because a lot of the forwards I'd like to go for Yeah, it would be great to use Rantanen to make up that space. I just don't know if it's going to work. You know, for that reason, say we use the Detroit first. Will that go through? It won't. We'll have to give up a little bit more, but so be it. Let's go with a 4th and a 5th. How close are we now? Just a bit low, which means I need to add 2 more first-round picks. What about the LA 3rd? Will that work? Yes, it will. So we got Vitanen from Boston, and the final defenseman, and I'm not joking when I say that, the final defenseman who's worth a damn, at least prospect-wise, is Hervinen. 76 overall, 22 years old. It is a risk to get this guy, but it's a risk we're going to take. We'll be giving up the New York Rangers first-round pick to do it, and we'll safety net this a little bit with a 3rd, which will probably be too much. Indeed it is, but that's fine. I didn't want to, go too far overboard. A 5th. What about straight up? This is the one that I'm nervous about, man, because I don't think he's worth it. He's not. You know what? He's not. 76 at 22. Not feeling it. So defensively, we pretty much have everybody that we're looking to have, which is tragic. Again, so it'll be Tervainen, Peltonen, Virtanen, and Kervainen leading the way, and the best prospects we have are Janila, Vitanen, and Ramo. It's a little bit dire, I'll be honest. Forward-wise, though, we do have options where we can look to get a little bit better. And arguably, the top option out there right now that we could trade for is currently a Los Angeles King, and that is Verkunen, who is 23, 90 overall. He was a first overall pick of the LA Kings. In terms of points, a little bit hit or miss, but the attributes are looking pretty good. That shot is obviously outrageous. He's extremely well-rounded. I wish the offensive awareness was a little bit higher, but there's a chance. The second most valuable Finnish forward, who is not currently on our team, is Kamel, who's an 89. And obviously, the offensive awareness is a little bit better for Joakim Kamel. You also have guys like Niemi, Lundell, and Rady, I guess it would be. Rady, whatever. There's a couple of other guys I have my eye on who are, a little bit lower in value. And I'm just trying to decide if I want to go after them or go after the guys who I know are extremely high value. The highest rated guy who's not of extreme high value is Keprasov here, who, yes, was on this team. The one downside with him, though, is the offensive awareness, and I just don't know if he'd put up points. He's extremely well-rounded otherwise, but, the last 2 seasons, he's put up points despite that low offensive awareness. It's kind of weird. To be honest, I don't think I'd want to take the risk with him, which actually brings us back to the LA Kings and a guy by the name of Jokinen, who, might end up being half decent. The offensive awareness and shooting category is nice. So, again, there's kind of a divide right now between the Verkunens or we go after guys like Jokinen. And obviously, if we go for these smaller guys, we'll be able to get pretty much all of them. So I think for that reason, it's the better way to go. Now, Jokinen has an outrageous contract, of course. So we'll see if we can get Los Angeles to retain salary, because why not? In order to get this guy, we're going to have to send out a big-time player. So we might as well make the most of it. So we'll be using Jokinen. Can they take Rantanen? They can. This is a ridiculous deal, and it sucks. But this has to happen. It has to happen. It's not going to happen for us, unfortunately. So we will go with a setup like that, and even then, I feel like we're just getting robbed. What if we go with the 2 first-round picks, 2 firsts, 2 seconds? Well, what do you think? Rejected. Not surprising. Take out that second, add just a 5th to safety net it, just in case. Still no. 2 firsts and a second. Still no, obviously. So we'll go with a 4th and a 6th, just to play it safe. Still rejected. What about straight up? I obviously want that Los Angeles first next year that they don't want to give up. That's a very very tantalizing pick to get if we can get it, which we're not going to be able to because obviously that pick's value might as well be full bar just about. Will that go through? We're getting to the point now where I'm getting robbed. They would accept that, but they don't want to retain salary. Do I want lesser value or retain salary? I'll take lesser value. A first, a second, Jokinen. I'll take back a third and a fourth. You're taking this deal. Come on, you're accepting this proposal. You're doing it. We're getting married. 5th rounder. Just take the damn trade. Take the trade, man. You know you want to. Have a bunch of garbage picks. You're retaining salary. Maybe you're not. They are that serious about not retaining salary, huh? Now, I know it's not the biggest deal in the world to get them to retain salary here, but it would be nice. Just to save a little bit of money. Okay, so they're just outright not going to retain salary. Alright. So we will still obviously go for Jokinen. It was worth a shot because his contract is a little bit meh. But we'll see then just how much we can truly add to that. Of course, I offered them that before. 1 first, 2 seconds, Jokinen, and a 6th. What do you think? There we go. Mikko Rantanen dealt to the Los Angeles Kings. Breaks my goddamn heart. We'll go talk to the New York Islanders next, who have 2 players that I'm interested in. Those 2 being Osplund and Martins. And the good thing is they want to trade Osplund. So we should be able to make that work. It looks like draft picks would be possible, but they also want to trade their picks. So, Capo Caco, they'd be overvalue. We're going to have to use picks here. They're just, yeah, those the cap space situation for them is just brutal, so there's no way. If we use the Calgary first, what do you think? Rejected, which isn't surprising. If we also add the Calgary second, how close are we? Quite far off, apparently. Jesus. What about if we also use the Rangers first rounder? Again, we got all the first rounders in the world, so we might as well use them. Safety net it with a second and a third. Safety net it with a third. Still rejected. Let's just go with, say, a 5th. 2 first rounders for Martin Asplund and a 5th. Quite close to fair value. What about just straight up? There we go. So we got Osplund and Martins from the New York Islanders in exchange for draft picks. The next target in terms of forwards is going to be from the Chicago Blackhawks. And it is Norinen, who's actually a center, 84 overall, at 22 years old, 2 years left on his deal. And you can see why. Offensive dynamo, well-rounded in general, former 9th overall pick. Pretty damn good pickup option. Will this be where Capo Caco departs this team? Not quite. Chicago can't afford it, and they won't be able to afford anybody I can really send their way. And again, Rasmus Kupari is someone who will probably be dealt. I don't necessarily want to get in trouble for dealing him right now, because I still have free agents to sign, and if people get pissed and say, oh, well, if you're just going to deal people, then I don't want to sign, and I can't afford to have that happen. Mika Purnez is such an interesting player. I'm going to keep him if I can. So we're looking at draft picks again. And obviously we have plenty. But it's going to be expensive. So if we go with the Calgary first, we're still not going to be close. And again, this is the issue. If a team doesn't want to give up a player, we're in trouble. A first, a second, and a third for Norinen goes through. Might have been a little bit too much, but I'd rather just get the deal done. We go and talk to Calgary, as they have a dude by the name of Jokela, who is 26 years old at this point. But in terms of that shooting category, the offensive awareness, he's well-rounded. We might as well see what he can do as well. Is this where Capo Caco goes? It is. So we have found Capo Caco's landing spot. Unfortunately, we have already taken a lot of Calgary's picks. So it is going to be tough. The good thing is their first rounders aren't worth a ton right now. So we might be able to make up quite a bit of value. An extra first is going to be overboard, and there's no way they're ever going to accept it. But I'm going to go for it. Just to, I mean, why the hell not? Shoot your shot, right? Second round pick. Again, as many first rounders as we can get, the better. No matter how far down the road they are. 3 firsts and a third. What about just 3 firsts? Still no. So we'll take out the 2033 pick. We'll add a second and a third. Still no. Take out the third. Still no. Take out the second. Let's go for a third and a sixth. Just to get something. Sweeten it just a touch. I'll kill you. How's that for sweetening it? We'll take out the third. So it'll be Jokela, 2 firsts. And we'll go with a 4th and a 5th this year for Kaapo Kakko. I will... I'll milk your cows. 4th and a 7th. I will lose my mind on... Oh, we're saving salary. We're saving salary for our guys. I'm offering you Kaapo fucking Kakko. Take the deal. Take the deal right now. You're taking this deal. You have no choice. You have no choice. I want this player. Screw you. Screw your contracts. I don't care. We're taking this guy. Deal with it. I'll take Sam Bennett off of your hands and flip him. Just take the goddamn deal. I will. Here we go. Alright, Jokela might not happen because this is going to be a massive pain in the ass. Yeah, Jokela might not happen. If it does... You know what? Yeah, Jokela's out then. If Calgary doesn't want that to work, that is what it is. I do still have other options, including a dude on Colorado. It is another Ramo. Nothing but Ramos. 82 overall, 22 years old, too. He's arguably better. So, and there's another guy on Tampa that I also have my eyes on again. None of these were the big dog Finns, but that's just not going to happen. If we could get that Colorado first, that would be phenomenal. I doubt it's going to happen, but I'm damn well going to try, because why would I not? Especially if it ends up being that good. Although you could argue, you know, their pick probably won't end up being as good as it looks, because, I mean, they're going to be a better team once we send them Kaapo Kakko, but all of their first round picks are looking at actually being that valuable, so that really doesn't help. Oh, the goddamn glitch. I hate that. You gotta hit over for no reason. So, let's take out the second. Go with 3 thirds. Still no. What about 2 thirds, a first, and Ramo? Still no. Right. Ramo in that first. Wow. I would have to give up plus to make that happen. But I'm willing to do it because it's just, it needs to be done. It needs to be done. Ramo's one of our better, younger options out there. Will this go through? Okay, so that first round pick is not negotiable. Good to know. And that's really going to screw me over. Like, really going to screw me over. Do I take a loss on Kaapo Kakko here? Because there's nothing I can do. There's just nothing I can do. Except trade for all of the second round picks. Literally all of them. Or that first rounder way down the road. Nope. So we'll go for all of those picks. And the Colorado third this year. Will that go through? Kaapo Kakko to Colorado. Well, we go to Tampa. They have a prospect by the name of Heino, who we are very much targeting. 65 overall, fresh out of the draft. And this will be the landing spot for Simon Tyval, which pains me to say. But again, it must be done. It's not going to be for Anton Lundell. We're taking a step back. And it sucks. But we're taking a step back. Will that go through? Probably not. Nope, but it was worth a shot trying to get the 2 firsts in there. Will this go through? A first, 2 seconds, and a third. Yes, it will. Simon Tyball to Tampa. And from there, outside of Jokela in Calgary, I have 3 other players that I'm targeting. I still want to go back and see if I can get a deal done for Jokela, because we might as well. So it's Ludman, Lambert, and Louis really leading this team. But obviously, I mean, the changes here are massive as it is. We'll see if we can use that Tampa first. It's going to take more than that to get him, though. Let's use the Tampa first. And again, we have multiple second-round picks to try and make this work. First and a second works, no problem. Slight overpayment, but that's okay. Colorado has a guy by the name of Hämäläinen. Hämäläinen, where are you? He's 25, but a decent enough looking player. And we'll see if we can get him for relatively cheap. We'll add the Calgary second. Obviously, we'll have to add a little bit more. If we could keep those 3 first-round picks, that would be great. For second and 2/3 for Hämäläinen. That goes through. Apparently, that's an overpayment. That's fine. Edmonton have their own Kiprusoff. Of course, not the one that we saw in Vegas. 83 overall at this point. If I could get them to retain salary on this guy, I'd feel a hell of a lot better about it. We'll see if we can get that to work. I'll have to overpay them to do it. But, yeah, that contract's pretty bad. And in case he sucks, I really need that, retained cap to make that, trade possible if we have to get rid of him. So say we have to use the Washington first here to do it. I'd be fine with that. We'll safety net it with a bunch of picks. Will that go through? No. What about now? Still no. What about now? Still no. I mean, I know he's got retained salary and you don't want to trade him, but still, man, come on. Let's go. No. Come on. He's not that valuable. Jesus. How about a 5th? Straight up. I can't believe they rejected that. Well, they're going to get more because I really want them to retain salary. Edmonton, just take the deal. Stop being dumb. Just take the deal. You know you want to. I cannot believe they're still rejecting this contract. Or this trade. Will that go through? Edmonton, what is wrong with you? Oh my God. Like, I'm trying so hard to make this one-sided in your favor. Like, that's beyond dumb. That is beyond... You know what? I want to do this now just to see how much I have to add. How ridiculous does this have to be to get them to retain cap? And apparently the answer is that ridiculous. Jesus. We go to the final option, and it is Montreal's Asplund. Asplund. Not Kotkaniemi. Asplund. He will be the final target. So we have $27 million in cap, so obviously we'll be able to go after everybody that we had our eyes on. Is a second round pick enough? It is not, but we have some low-end picks that we can still add into the mix. Will that go through? Sweeten it a touch. Sweeten it a touch, they say. Here, have another second. Give me back a bunch of garbage. Accept the trade. Thank you. With that, we are done with the wheeling and the dealing. So that's good. Let's actually go back and take a look at what this team is looking like now. Goaltending-wise, we're going to have to sign at least 3 guys, but Hakarainen's our dude. Defensively, we need to sign Peltonen, but it's going to be Tervainen, Peltonen, Virtanen, Kervainen, Lintuniemi, and Laaksonen, unless I sign the other free agent Finnish defenseman, which I very well could. It would be worth it. And then forward-wise, again, Ludman, Lambert, Louis is going to be there, and a lot of new faces. Even someone like Kasper Bjorkqvist might be given another chance. We'll see how the rest of the signings go, and as well, just kind of what the roster's shaping up to be, because those new acquisitions have we'll say they have, preference over the other guys here. So Peltonen wants a pretty dang-dong ridiculous deal, but we'll go 5.25, 6 years for him, because we do need to take up some salary. And we'll see who else we have here with the $26 million we have available. So I've already looked for prospects, of course. So Finnish goaltenders will be Capo Kakkonen. So, just to up our Capo quota after trading Capo Kakko. And Johansson, God, okay, someone we had here is off the board, or he's a little bit lower. Ville Husso, we'll be spending a little bit of money to bring him back. And the last one is Vieni Vehviläinen. So, the same goaltender core that we've had for the past few seasons, they will be back. Defensively, Lundqvist is Swedish, but Tyrväinen's available. And while he's not great, if I can sign him just as depth, take up a little bit of cap space and then potentially move him, that would be great. Do we have anybody else who's an obvious signing? Markus Niemelainen. Try to bring him in as well. And we'll save room on this team to sign someone to like a max contract if we need to. Rananen. All the same faces to help fill out the AHL. It's just how it works, though. Toskala should be available, right? Yeah, he is. Good old Marco Toskala. But we'll sign him as well. So that's up to 8. So forwards. Were there any other big-time forwards? Kapanen is probably the biggest one here that we can still go for. So we'll be looking at like 6.1 over 4 years, which might not be worth it, but just to get him signed would be nice. And did we have anybody else? Lundstrom wasn't available. He's Swedish. Eklund, Raymond. None of these other guys were available. Lamala was, who we had on the roster last year, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I wanted to let all those guys go just to see what the cap space situation was going to be. And obviously, we have a little bit more available in terms of cap space than I think any of us were really planning. But it is a new day. It is a new dawn, a new era for this team. And we'll look to bring back Otto Koivula again. It's weird to say it's a new era when we're going to have so many faces returning, especially from an AHL standpoint. And Juho Lammikko will be the last guy that we bring back for now. So we'll see who signs out of those deals, and from there it's a matter of, again, God, it's tragic to see us listed as rebuilders. From there we'll see what happens, how much cap space we have, and we'll take it from there to see what the roster looks like in October. Every single person signed, which is beautiful. So in terms of cap space, what are we looking at? And we have $11 million in space. That shouldn't result in me being under the cap. It shouldn't be. We should be okay. But if I sell anybody and we still want a little bit of maneuverability, I should do something. So do we have a veteran Finn who would like to take up a decent amount? And the answer is yes. We're going to be going for Marcus Granlund, who was just let go by the Canucks IRL. And he'll be getting $7 or $8 million. To be honest, I'm not even looking at the screen right now. I'm just looking up in the sky, and I'm going to look back at the screen once I stop scrolling in 3, 2, 1. Shit, I accidentally hit down. Well, that's embarrassing. Still though, 1 year at 8.6. There you go, Marcus. Congratulations. Yeah, you go ahead and weigh your options. You go ahead. I can retire, or I can make enough money for where my grandchildren's grandchildren will still be fine. Yeah, I don't really think that's a decision for you, Marky. I don't think so. Now, the one thing I wanted to do to really usher in this new era is it's time. It's time. You know what? It's a new dawn. It's a new day. I really wish you could put flags on jerseys. You can't. There we go. It's been done. It looks terrible. That's why I didn't put it on there before, because it looks stretched and weird, and I don't like it. But there you go. We'll slap a logo on to the jerseys. And, you know, maybe that'll bring us good luck. Maybe that's the reason why we didn't win. Who knows? Who's to say? But actually, I can't really make it. Can I make a second version of the eagle? As to where there's not like a weird white outline? Probably not with the way that is. So there we go. We now have logos on the jerseys. Please come to our games, because we're probably going to be terrible. But man, Rantanen, Kakko, Simon Taival, Luukkonen, for all the series that we've done, if you look at like the cores that we've had to our rosters in the past, and you were to say, hey, you're not going to win a Stanley Cup with that team, I would say that I'd believe you, because of how RNG is in this game and how God, always seem to have god-awful luck. But, you know, we'll try to make the best of it. We'll make the most of it, right? I mean, here's hoping, at least. So we'll get to next season. I'll have to fix the scouting before we begin simming, which isn't a big deal. I don't even know if we're going to sim in this episode. We might just leave it for the next time. But let's take a look at what this roster looks like, shall we? Although, I want to double check if we have any unsigned players at this point who are worth signing, at least. The answer is probably not. Janila is the only unsigned guy that we have on this roster. So that's a good sign, I suppose. So let's take a look. Goaltending, pretty straightforward. Hakkarainen is up to an 85, and it will be Kaapo Kähkönen as an 80, who will start in the NHL. So defensively, Tervainen, Peltonen, Virtanen, Kurvainen, Laaksonen, and Lintuniemi, which I'm fine with because we have a decent amount of AHLers who need to have time. So I think I'm good with that. Although, you know what, we'll call up Tervainen. Although apparently that would put me... Oh, okay, it would put me over the limit. We'll call up Tervainen, we'll go best lines, and we'll see who it keeps in there. Because between Laaksonen and Lintuniemi, they were both signed as filler. So I'm good with... I mean, Tervainen was signed there too. So right now, in terms of a top 10, 11 and 12 is Hämäläinen. So this is tough. This is tough as far as who stays. I think Mika Pirnez is probably gone. I talked about it before, but someone like Bjorkqvist and Kupari are easy outs as far as who we just look to move on from. So defensively we're set, and then forward-wise it's 10, 11, and 12 with Lamala, 13 with Pirnez. If we have anybody down here as far as younger options that we wanted to keep, now is the time to get rid of them. So this is going to be basically a brand new team this year. So we are immediately going to the trade screen, and we'll see what we're dealing with here. Now, I know technically, of course, I did pick up like a 26-year-old player while trading another 26-year-old player. Mainly talking about Jokela, and of course getting rid of Simon Taival, but obviously that was more of a kind of cap dump, and Simon Taival was going to be expensive sooner rather than later. But in terms of value here, I can't believe Suomela has value. We'll probably trade him near the draft. Lintuniemi will probably be traded, but Kasper Bjorkqvist at this point just has to go. He's such a good third liner, but he's not going to have a spot, and just too many times disappointing us in the postseason. And Erasmus Kupari has all the trade value in the world. I don't like it. The shot's too weak. The puck skills in terms of passing is far too weak. I mean, you could say he deserves a shot, but also he's worth a ton. And is probably worth it more to us being off of this team rather than on it. So at the very least, we know Bjorkqvist is going. If we can send them to Anaheim, they need to, they need to take on a little bit of cap. They don't want to. I mean, they can't trade for picks though. Boston's listed as a rebuilder. Buffalo might work. They do want to trade picks. That first rounder. Not quite, but we should be able to finagle our way to a first-round pick from the Sabres. And again, we'll just throw in a bunch of low-round garbage. Still no. Damn. I thought that was likely. We'll go with some mid-round garbage. Is that enough? Just a bit low. It's going to cost that third-round pick. But I think I'm okay with that because, again, we'll still be recouping draft picks. There we go. So we get another first-round pick. This one from Buffalo. And then forward-wise, again, it's 10, 11, and 12. So say we send down Pirnez for the moment. And is there anybody... So there's nobody that we brought in aside from Martins who's in the AHL who's supposed to be in the NHL. So if we wanted to, someone like Limerock could take a seat, or we can just leave the depth forward in the NHL and let him tear shit up. And then, of course, the argument becomes whether or not... So I think we'll send down Limerock. He was good last year. We're going to give Rasmus Kupari the chance. We have enough talent here where we can try out these players, see who does well. If they suck, they go. And we recoup assets. And we just whittle it down until we have the best of this group. That's pretty much the strategy moving forward. So if we go best lines in terms of defense, it ends up scratching Lintoniemi, which I'm fine with. And again, it'll be Tuomo Peltonen, who will probably... he's still good as a two-way. It'll be Tyrväinen, who will probably be changed to a two-way as well. Kervainen still as an offensive defenseman. Virtanen as an offensive defenseman still. Tyrväinen... that's a tough one. Probably a two-way, maybe an offensive defenseman, but man, his defensive and offensive awareness categories are terrible, and then Laaksonen, we'll see. And then from a forward perspective, I mean, at least in terms of who's going to be playing center, we have plenty of people who can play center, actually. But, I mean, again, you look at like the leaders of this team, it's Tommy Ludman now. Jokela, we'll see how he fits into the team. Brad Lambert, we know what he's capable of. Marco Kapanen, I'm excited to see what he can do as probably a sniper on this team. Ville Norinen, of course, Mika Jokinen, Tommy Asplund, Rasmus Kupari. Tommy Kiprusoff's not back, but I was thinking of the other Kiprusoff. Samu, Hämäläinen, and Ramo. There's a lot that we can do with this team, a lot of different orders. It's going to be trial and error with this squad, setting things up, and just giving people the opportunity to succeed. And if they fail, then we move on from them. It is really that simple. We'll get Asplund into the AHL lineup. And is there anybody else that we need to focus on? Granlund, Hines, Poxboo, Kerman, Combs, and Heino. So we're pretty much looking good as well in the AHL. Defensively, Pirnez Vitanen needs to make it into that team. And he will. And then goaltender-wise, we don't have anybody. So a massive, massive episode in terms of changes. I'm not totally ruling out this team this year, though. We don't know what to expect. We truly, truly don't. It named Tommy Ludman as captain, and I don't know if I can disagree with that, really. I mean, it's here Brad Lambert as sole survivors, and I think... you know, maybe we don't have Ludman as the captain, but in terms of the leadership group, Louis, Ludman, and Lambert for now. And we'll see who steps up now that they're the main trio of the team. And we'll see who earns that captain's C moving forward. But let me know what you guys think. Again, I'll give you another quick look at the overalls and everything. Let me know what you think in terms of line combinations. Obviously, player types could change as well. Don't know if we'll want to do skill, defensive, physical in terms of first line, second line, third line, fourth line, or if we just let these guys, if we just optimize and have everybody be listed based off of what their attributes say they should be, where Asplund would probably be a sniper as well. We'd end up with quite a few snipers. Someone like Kupari will probably be a two-way, maybe even a power forward to get him to be a little bit more physical. And someone like Kiprusoff, probably a playmaker, maybe a two-way as well. That's the thing about a lot of these guys. Very, very well-rounded players overall. Hämäläinen as well. It's going to be arguably a great two-way. Like, he could be an amazing Amazing third liner for us. I'm excited to see what we do this year. I think there's a chance that we could be pretty damn good. I mean, outside of Lambert and Ludman, we don't have superstars. But this is a tremendously well-rounded team. We don't know what to expect with the goaltending. But still, Hakkarainen, 23 years old, medium elite, could cap out. Will probably cap out around an 87. I think the next episode is going to be very interesting. Like I said, a new dawn, a new day, a new era for the Espoo Eagles.